Hello there, how are you? How's things today? You've done what? Oh, how interesting. No, I really must tell you what I've been up to. Where do I begin? Ooh. Yeah, the weather, that's always a good place to start, isn't it?
How are you feeling today? You look ever so nice. I've just popped round because I'm going round the shops. Would you like me to get you anything? I'll have a look in the cupboards if you like and see if you need anything. Would you like me to make you a cup of tea while I'm there?
So you can't say, well, 3% is okay, but 5% isn't, because you have to look at each individual case. But certainly, I don't think any of us envisaged that there would be this scale of abortion.
I seem to have been somewhat misled. I understood from your son that you were a horse owner and lived next to stables at Ascot.
Oh, no, you must have said Axton. Small Shepherd's Bush, really. I suppose you were like me, a bit mutton Jeff.
I beg your pardon?
Jeff! Jeff!
There's no need to shout, Father.
It's like when you have to keep asking people to repeat what they've, questions they've asked you, or if they're talking to you. And like I have had the family, if they've said something to me and I haven't picked up what they've said, and they've turned around and said, oh, I think you're going hard hearing something. Did you hear me then? And as I said, we're such as a television. Once the television's on, it's up loud. Too loud for the family that have got normal hearing like. Inside the factory, with a row of the machines, it seems very funny. If there's a new row there, you pick that up quicker than the one as you used to, like in the factory. And yes, I do have a conversation sometimes with them as I work with. But 9 times out of 10, I've got to keep asking them to repeat what's being said.
Basically, in the early 1980s, I became aware that there were a number of problems in industry as a whole. At first, it was difficult to elicit a response from management. I must say that many managements felt at that time that they did not have a particular problem with noise. In conjunction with our colleagues at the Health and Safety Advice Centre, we found out by testing members that in fact there was a major problem on noise, and as a result of the campaign that we've run, not only have we been able to assist members who have suffered through noise-induced deafness, but we've also been able to bring some managements round to the position that this is a major problem that we need to work together on improving. Many members on first hearing that they're going to have a test imagine all kinds of things, that it might be painful or that it might be time consuming. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's a very simple screening test that we carry out. Takes roughly 15 minutes. It asks members to respond to levels of noise played through headphones at various frequencies. A very simple test, no pain whatsoever, but it enables us pretty rapidly to draw up a picture of that member's hearing loss, if any.
I don't work on the power press section, where the power press section is the noisiest section. I've had mine from out of what they call a catchment area, because I work by the powers. So the actual noise of my machines, milling machines, they affect me. But the row from the powers, all the years that I've worked there, that's affected my hearing.
Sound is energy in vibratory motion. Noise is unwanted sound, unwanted by the recipient, that is. If we look at the diagram of the ear, suspended in the cochlea is this other organ, the organ of Corti. And you see this consists of a series of hair cells sticking up in the fluid. So when the fluid is vibrated, the hair cells are stimulated to move back and forwards, which makes this basal membrane produce a chemical which becomes a chemical transmitter and goes via the auditory nerve to the brain. So we hear in the frontal lobes of the brain. Very loud noise flattens these hair cells, like a new carpet pile or new grass, but they gradually recover. The flattening is referred to as a temporary deafness or a temporary threshold shift. But constant exposure to noise eventually weakens these cells and they're deprived of blood and they die. If I was speaking to someone and saying, "Pass the butter, please," and they couldn't read my lips, it would sound like, and no matter how loud I said it, it would become no clearer. And the effect of noise in the body is to increase the heart rate, increase blood pressure, dilate the pupils of the eyes, you increase your adrenaline in the blood, and your whole body is stressed, ready for this flight or fight response.
I don't think there is enough being done inside industry for the younger generation, because they ain't told when they come into the factory you must wear earplugs on that section because of the noise. What we're trying to do now it's too late, is to make everywhere so quiet. That'll take years to come along. We have had a spat of young ones go through for an ear test, but no, they're all right at this moment in time. Of course, they're young, it's when they come to middle age when they start noticing it's gone. I forget what percent I was classed as loss of hearing on, but I had £846 for mine, and I was told that eventually I would lose the loss of hearing altogether. I can't blame Mr. Squire for my loss of hearing. I don't blame anybody really, because as I say, at the time we started inside these factories there was no mention of loss of hearing through noise. We just went in the factories, every factory was the same. We moved in. It is something that's just happened, and if we'd been aware of it, well, as I say, I think if we'd have been aware on it, it still wouldn't have deterred me from going into the factories, because there was only factory jobs for it, or shops. So we do feel angry, we feel very angry, because it's like, as I said, I myself, I haven't got much of a social life, but the people as I work with, the one woman as I work with, it stopped her from going out now. I used to go out with her husband, but I got that embarrassed at not being able to join in the conversation, so I took to stopping it down. As I say, you do find it does penalise you a hell of a lot.
It's really quite difficult for workers as individuals to do anything about industrial noise or any sort of health and safety issue, they need to act collectively through a trade union. The Workers' Memorial Tree being planted at the Trade Union Studies Centre is there to remind people of what's actually going on in industry and what can happen to workers. People go deaf gradually from industrial deafness, and they often assume that it's to do with the fact they're getting older, for example, that the hearing is getting worse. They don't always associate it with work. Often people will find out they've gone deaf from the problems they're having domestically. The husband or wife complaining they're not listening properly, they're not answering the phone, etc., not listening to the children or whatever. National Hazards Week aims to raise people's awareness of what's happening in industry. The Advice Centre provides health and safety advice on a number of issues, and we're bringing those in during Hazards Week. So we are a preventative organisation. We can't actually go into a workplace and make it quieter, but what we aim to do is empower workers by providing them with enough information to approach their employers collectively as a union.
In a one-to-one situation, maybe at home, just talking to his wife, or with an induction loop listening to television, a hearing aid may help. But in situations, say at work, where there's other sources of noise, or socially, say in a social club, where there's maybe music and background conversation, the collection of all noises, in fact, becomes confusing.
Whilst we realised that there was a problem with noise in our industry, we certainly did not anticipate the scale of the problem.
It's like as you say, I feel very bitter. If I've got to come to wear a hearing aid, I just wish that's the way we're more going. It'll have to be hearing aids as we're needing. It's like you said, I'm 58, almost 58. I don't feel as if I'm 58. So by the time I'm 60 and come to retire, I'll still very likely be a recluse in my own home.